So I have to make a couple of apologies to start this video. I want to apologize to Pacer fans as well as Buck fans. I think you guys are going to lose in round 1. And I think that the second round matchup between the Toronto Raptors, the 3 seed in the East, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, the 2 seed, could be pretty interesting, and I think the Raptors maybe have the best chance in the East of actually beating the Cavs. Do they actually have a chance, though? I mean, we can talk about it. And we can start with just how Toronto would deal with the Cavaliers' offense. I mean, Kyrie Irving is definitely up there when it comes to guys that are just really frickin' tough to defend. The dribble moves he has, the spin moves behind the backs, between the leg, the hesitation, the shooting, the way that he finishes off of either foot, Kyrie's a beast. The question is Kyle Lowry ready to defend that? I mean, I would consider Lowry to be one of the better defensive point guards in the NBA. He's a pretty strong dude as well. He's going to have to be ready to deal with all that from Kyrie. I would recommend getting physical with him, because I assume Lowry's stronger, on top of, in the playoffs, they do allow you to get away with a bit more. But I think the Raptors also have another perimeter option, which is Norman Powell, who often defends either shooting guards or point guards. He could find some time defending Kyrie, and I mean, these are the options the Raps have. Does that mean they're actually going to be able to stop Kyrie? Probably not. He's a fantastic offensive player, but that's how they're going to have to address that one. LeBron is not going to be as easy, which makes sense because he's LeBron frickin' James. And he's just a cheat code because of the way he can barrel down into the rim. If we look at some of the wing defense options that the Raptors have, I think they have one guy who could have a chance at least resisting LeBron a little bit. DeMarre Carroll, it's a track record at this point. The dude can't defend LeBron. They signed him to do exactly that, be the physical defensive player. Hasn't really worked out. He just hasn't been himself since he showed up to the Raptors. They did acquire PJ Tucker, though. He's a pretty strong dude, and you can find some video on YouTube of Tucker actually doing not a bad job on LeBron. I'm not saying, again, that he's going to be able to just stop him, because no one can. But perhaps he would actually have a chance of making LeBron's day not just a cakewalk, and you combine that with hopefully some defense on Kyrie, and it might be the start of something. And then we get to Kevin Love. They have been getting him the ball more often this season. I am interested to see if they're going to maintain that as the deeper they get into the playoffs. But this is also why you acquired Serge Ibaka, to be a defensive 4 who can defend around the perimeter and defend a pick and pop for Kevin Love. But also, if Love wants to try to do some work down low, hopefully Ibaka can be there as well. So they do have some decent one-on-one defenders. But now we got to talk about the Kevin Love and LeBron James pick and roll, which is a play that the Cavaliers they definitely are going to run on you. I think Ibaka could be a guy who could switch onto LeBron and maybe be okay. I mean, they're going to have to do it regardless. Is DeMarre Carroll going to be able to defend Kevin Love rolling to the rim? I don't know, but you have to be able to switch that pick and roll to have a chance to defend these two anyway. Now, Tristan Thompson, on the other hand, I think they're going to have some trouble with that one, because the center who's going to be defending that play would be Valanciunas, and he just kind of isn't that good on defense. Definitely not what Serge Ibaka is for you. I think he's made some improvements as he's gone along in the NBA, but is he really ready to defend LeBron James and Kyrie Irving in pick and rolls? I don't know about that one. And then we can talk about the man, the myth, the legend, Nogueira. I mean, his rim protection is pretty okay, but you ask him to step outside of the paint and it's not very pretty. I think their best front court defensively to go against these guys would be one, Serge Ibaka at the power forward position, or the center spot, and the other one, Patrick Patterson, because both of these guys are some decent defensive players who can defend a pick and roll, they know how to provide help, and physically they can stand up to Cleveland's bigs. Are they going to be able to control Tristan Thompson on the offensive boards? I don't know about that one, but I do like their chances of playing defense. But they both also can shoot from outside, so that's going to draw out some of Cleveland's defense. I mean, if you're having Tristan Thompson out on the perimeter to make sure none of these guys can hit threes, that could make it easier for you to get down low and score. Because if you're allowing Thompson to just be around the rim and protect it and be, you know, the very good defender he is, you're going to have some trouble. So there's some options for you to get the rim protection down a little bit for Cleveland. But now we can just talk about Toronto's stars themselves. Kyle Lowry is having his best season. His efficiency is by far the highest it's ever been for him. And his shooting out of the pick and roll has just been great this season. Is Kyrie going to be ready to defend all that? I mean, we can just talk about Cleveland's defense here, which I think is the one fear with these guys. If the Cavaliers won the championship, they would be the worst defensive team to ever do it. They were like 20th or something in the league defensively, and Toronto's got some nice scores there. I mean, if Lowry's not doing it, DeMar DeRozan could do it as well with the mid-range jumpers, his ability to go one-on-one, turnarounds, and all that type of stuff. I mean, we've been hearing it all season that the Cavaliers can just kind of turn it around and become a quality defensive team. I mean, they did it against the Warriors for about 4 games. Can they do it now? I don't know, but one option they do have, you could put LeBron on DeMar DeRozan, honestly, because LeBron will be defending DeMar Carroll the majority of the time anyway. It's not like Carroll's going to do anything on there anyway. You could put a lesser defender on him, have LeBron defend DeRozan at times. I don't expect LeBron to do this for the entire series, but one criticism you can throw at DeRozan is like, he doesn't always have the best time against really big defenders. LeBron James definitely classifies as that one, and a determined LeBron James is maybe the scariest defender in the NBA. I'm also going to be looking at Iman Shumpert. His defense has been shaky this season. His one-on-ones have just been not the best sometimes. This is a really silly clip of him diving on the floor. If his defense is able to show up and he can be on Kyle Lowry and be pretty good, then Toronto could have a tough time, especially if LeBron is locking up DeRozan at times. But Kevin Love, I mean, he's not that good on defense. And with how many perimeter scorers the Raptors have, if you could involve Love in pick and rolls and all that, force him to have to move around the floor, I think they're definitely vulnerable there. But now we can talk about Toronto's depth, because it's one of their strengths. Their bench unit with Kyle Lowry has been fantastic this season, as Corey Joseph does a lot of the ball handling. There's shooters everywhere, and I mean, teams have lost themselves the game against the Raptors in the second quarter just because their head coach wasn't ready for this lineup. And what's interesting for the Cavs is they might have to have LeBron in against this lineup because their numbers without LeBron are not very pretty. Now, the Cavaliers have some versatile stuff off the bench. There's Kyle Korver, fantastic outside shooter. Richard Jefferson has given them good minutes in the past in the biggest games. The NBA Finals, he was pretty damn decent. Channing Frye is a big guy who can cause matchup problems, especially if he has a passer like LeBron, or I mean, even Kyrie, he's tough to defend out there. And there's also Darren Williams, who's shown some life for them as the backup point guard. So I do think the Cavaliers have options against that Raptors bench lineup, but it could be tough, who knows. So I think Toronto definitely has things that could annoy the Cavaliers. A Serge Ibaka, Patrick Patterson lineup could be pretty stretchy and force the Cavs to make some adjustments on defense. The Cavaliers' defense themselves has been shaky all season, and I mean, I think that would be the one fear with them going into a series like this. But ultimately, they do have LeBron James, and I think that would be the telling thing of this one. I mean, the guy's just simply ridiculous. We saw what he did against the Golden State Warriors, down 3-1 and all that, and that might just be too much for the Raptors to deal with.